Text-size bubbles typically manifest in certain pockets of the market even as other sectors remain undervalued. Dreamtime. It is likely that the S&P 500 technology hardware, storage and peripherals indexes in a bubble at risk of bursting. That's the conclusion I draw from a study by 3 Harvard University researchers, Robin Greenwood, a finance and banking professor who chairs the institution's Behavioral Finance and Financial Stability Project, Andre Schleifer, an economics professor, and Yang Yu, a Ph.D. candidate. In their study, Bubbles for Fama, published in the January 2019 issue of the Journal of Financial Economics, they analyzed U.S. stock market history back to 1926 in search of ways to forecast a bubble that was about to burst. Applying the formula the researchers derive, I calculate there is an 80% chance that the technology hardware, storage and peripherals index will be 40% lower than today at some point in the next 2 years. Among some of the better-known firms in this industry are Apple, ticker AAPL, Seagate Technology STX, and Western Digital WDC. Though no other industries satisfy the researchers' definition of a bubble, 2 others come close. They are also in the technology arena: semiconductors and semiconductor equipment, and software. Newsletter sign up this week's magazine. This weekly email offers a full list of stories and other features in this week's magazine. Saturday mornings ET. Why focus on an industry that may be in a bubble, rather than the market as a whole? Professor Greenwood told Barron's that he and his fellow researchers learned from their study of the history of bubbles that they rarely are market-wide events. Far more common, he said, is for a bubble to manifest in certain pockets of the market even as other sectors remain undervalued. This was certainly the case at the top of the dot-com bubble, the mother of all bubbles. Greenwood reminds us that, even as dot-com stocks soared to outrageous valuations in the late 1990s and early 2000, other sectors of the market, notably value stocks, were either fairly valued or even undervalued. Some of those other sectors actually gained ground during the bear market that accompanied the bursting of the dot-com bubble stocks. The researchers define a bubble to be any industry whose 2-year return is at least 100 percentage points greater than the overall market's. This is a high standard indeed. Among all industries for which they had performance data between 1926 and 2016, just 40 satisfied the definition at any point over this 90-year period. Read more. The stock market bubble is just getting started. Not all bubbles burst, of course, and those that do don't always burst right away. The researchers imposed a strict precondition here as well. Once an industry satisfied their definition of a bubble, they considered it to have burst if, within the subsequent 2 years, it lost at least 40% of its value.